Taylor Adams looked pretty good out there. Nathan, you're going to break from your Thursday tradition and tell us if he's going to play?
Thanks for exposing me for that one. The team will come out. When's the team come out? No, Tay's fit. He's a leader of the football club. One of our best performers over a number of years. So he got through well today, and he'll play this week.
Will you wear the glove?
Yes. I'm always a big believer in training as you play. So he was trained with the glove the last couple of sessions, and we'll use that as a form of support. I think that we've got the all clear. He got the all clear from the surgeon, and he's been doing quite a bit of ball handling, ball drills over the last couple of weeks. But it was just taking that next step up in the competitive work over the last couple of sessions. And as I said, he's as fit as he's been, running fit as he's been, and ready to go. So the glove will be worn, and it'll be focused on, I'm sure. But his mind is really clear about playing the game and attacking it as per normal.
There's been plenty of hype surrounding this grand final rematch and all that, but in terms of the club and yourself, is it just like any other game? The next game is the most important game you play, and we want to establish ourselves into this season, and it's important to bank as many wins as you can, especially early. So we go into round 3 1-1 as West Coast do, and they present a real challenge in the way that they play the game, and we see that as a chance to test ourselves and our strategies, in the new year to really test and find out, where we stack up against one of the better sides in the comp. So that is largely our mentality around the opportunity of round 3 2019.
West Coast has noticed some changes in you and your structure and setup. What have you noticed from them so far?
I think we both started the season fairly sloppy in round 1. And I just thought that they were very composed against GWS. Most of their, they've got some new faces. They had some new faces in, and potentially, we'll find out what their 22 or their 26 looks like, in a day or two. But largely they're like us, largely going about it the same way, and pretty sure of the brand that they play, and that they that we witnessed last year is fairly similar to the brand that we're witnessing this year. It's one that's stacked up, as ours has, over a period of time. So just trying to make it better.
Has it stirred up any emotions playing this week, that recasting your mind back to September?
No, I got through those. I think, we have. We're not robots. The team, the club, are made of very human strengths and frailties and realities. But we can't dwell on anything that we're not in control of anymore. I think we've got really good at that. We're really good at being in the moment. We're an in the moment club. We're an in the moment team. And we want to bring all that positive emotion that we carry day to day for each other, more than an external impetus or an external focus. It really is about how we see each other and how we want to go about our footy now that really drives us. That's the emotion that we look for week to week and day to day when we go about our business.
How large does Jeremy McGovern loom in your planning?
Look, I hear a lot about Jeremy, and he's a very good player. So's Tom Barras, and so's Shannon Hearn, and I see those three largely as very similar players in their capacity to read the ball and be attacking as defenders. Really well supported. Brad Shepherd back in the side, and their front half and midfield need to support the way they play with their pressure on the ball. So, McGovern's a very good player. He's been an All-Australian player for a couple of years. Is probably the outstanding intercept marking player in the competition, but Barras to be number 2 and Hearn wouldn't be far away. So we know what we're coming up against. If we keep kicking it high and without getting a contest, he'll keep marking them and coming back the other way. I'm pretty sure he'll take a few marks on Saturday night, so we won't be tearing our hair out when that happens. But on the balance of it, we just need to get the flow of play and be looking after our inside 50 entries, because that's generally what we're seeing in the competition. If you look after those, you're going to be okay. If you don't, the ball's going to bounce around a little bit.
That's the control of the ball last week and uncontested marks, lowering the eyes. Was that a plan specific for Richmond, or is that more generally the way you want to approach it? And mentioning there about those intercept markers and McGovern, does it become more important? Yeah,
it doesn't become more important, but it's still a factor. I mean, you want to be able to control the ball as much as you possibly can. But having said that, when we break the lines, we want to go fast and get the ball over the back as much as we can. And depending what the opposition show you in defence, your offence this 5 minutes may be different to what your offence looks like in the next 5 minutes. So I think we've coached an adaptability in the way that we move the ball. We'd love to look after it. We'd love to be able to cut through the opposition defence without taking too much risk. But the fact is, you do need to balance that risk reward, and the test for us is to be able to do it consistently against a really good defensive unit, especially in our front third.
Do you have a response to the Mason Cox report and then getting off, and now how lucky you might have it available, or thankful?
Yeah. Oh, look, it's been a long week for us. So it was a 9-day break from our last game. So it probably means that you've got the time to be able to handle an appeal process. Having said that, the coaching staff are doing its job and preparing for West Coast, whilst the players are recovering and preparing. And our administration did a great job to prepare Mason, and we got the result that we believed was just. Coxie's, even his stuff Monday, Tuesday's done. He's prepared well and he's ready to go. So it is clearly one of the things that happens in this sport, and we've been able to get over the other side of it and fully focused on Saturday night.
Slightly different bucks, but the prohibited contact rule, is it too difficult to umpire from your perspective? Or the rule that
closed fist stuff?
Yeah.
We're really clear on it, and there's been obviously a push over the last 12 to 18 months on taking punching out of the game altogether. Obviously a couple of those free kicks were quite significant late in the game against Hawthorn Bulldogs. Players aren't silly; they're aware of it. But having said that, there's heat of the moment decisions that need to be made, and the better players make better heat in the moment decisions, whether it's with ball in hand defensively or whether to push or punch. So I don't think any AFL player's under any illusions that if you clench your fist and make contact with an opponent, that you're either going to give a free kick away or be reported or hauled up for suspension. So that's the lay of the land, and you need to make adjustments in the way that you go about the game according to the rules as they're written.
Will Hoskin-Elliott, can you give us an update on him?
Yeah, Will's last week and a half, 2 weeks has been really positive. Had the ITB release, it's probably 3-4 weeks ago now, I think. And that took a little while to settle after the surgery, but he's moving really well now. We need to get, there's probably 2 or 3 weeks of training minimum that we need to get into him before he's physically ready to go. But the knee itself seems to be settling and to be a little more manageable now than it was through the large part of the pre-season. So really encouraging to see him running around.
A bit longer than expected. Bucks, a couple of weeks ago, I think the prognosis was about 4 weeks, and it's out to 5 or 6.
Yeah, what I find is when you get asked questions every week and you sort of got to come up with a number, sometimes that can change. So it has probably been longer than we've speculated on.
Did they reduce rather than extend?
Yeah, so sometimes stuff can change, you know, like between times that we've got to you. No, we would have preferred him to be here a lot, be up to speed and to be available earlier. I'm pretty sure Will would as well, and the supporters. But this is, I don't know what it's like to be a horse trainer trying to, when so much can go amiss. But our players are pretty resilient and robust, but not everything goes your way. So we've been able to handle this all right, and Will's up and running, and I'm sure he'll have an impact for us during the year.
Just back on the Eagles, do you feel better equipped to handle them with the inclusions you've had? You've got them structurally down back, Beamsy in the middle, Jamie forward, particularly down back.
Oh look, our personnel shifts are not insignificant. Like and we're still discovering, how that's going to settle for us for our best footy, not necessarily against any particular opposition. So we're really looking forward to getting more exposure to Darcy behind the ball, Billy in front of it. Seeing how Beamsy starts further understanding and connecting with the rest of with the rest of our midfield, and how that links into the way we attack and the way we defend. So I mean, they're three fairly significant parts of our 2019 campaign that either had zero or little effect on our 2018 campaign. So we're still going about our business, finding out about how good we can be with that new personnel in, and how it impacts on the rest of the competition. We'll know more about that as we go along as well.
How much do last year's games against West Coast come into your preparation for this one? Because it's not just the GF, but you played 3 times in the last 10 or 12. Yeah,
they do. Definitely the last times you played teams, when we look back at we played Richmond 3 times last year. Look back at that. We looked at the game against Geelong in round 1 was a not dissimilar type of game, a dour game that we've played against them in recent times. I mean, you couldn't go back 4 or 5 years ago. It's unrelated, but our recent contests in 2018 against West Coast followed a fairly similar script. Games could have gone either way. In 2 of those games, we got early leads and they ground back. But ultimately, we lost all 3 of those games. So there's obviously areas of strength that we want to reinforce, and there's areas that we weren't able to withstand, that they imposed on us, that we need to get better at. So it is, you do consider the way those games were played, and there are some consistencies with it that we need to remedy, and detailed that sort of front third ball movement, or decision making or execution that has been significant in the game, and is a significant part of being able to get a result against any opposition. But against West Coast and us, it seems to be prevalent, so we need to look after that.
You spoke a bit about the vignettes that are coming out.
Yeah.
One line that you've mentioned in those videos about asking Longy about Dom Sheed kicking the goal. What was his response?
He told me he was a left footer, and I said, I know that. Look, he's a good kick. And the response was basically that he's a good kick, but it was more about his capacity to settle himself and be able to finish. All credit to him and to the Eagles for what they were able to achieve, and I'm sure they won't be dwelling on it too much, as we're not.
Just one more, Bucks, on Braden Sire.
Yeah.
He seemed to leave the track early today. He didn't train after that. Is there anything in that?
Yeah, well, he's got a bit of a rib issue at the moment. It's affecting his breathing, so that's something he's been working through this week. So the docs will come back with a report on how that was, but he wasn't able to return onto the track, so he would be doubtful for VFL this week, given he couldn't complete training. But once again, mate, when I know more, I'll let you know. Yeah. I'll let you know, mate. All good. Cheers.